Hey everyone, Al here. Before we begin tonight's special episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Diabolical Coffee. It's devilishly good coffee and diabolically awesome swag. There's a roast for all tastes. You can order whole bean, coarse, and standard grind, espresso. There's even a K-Cup option for single cup brewers. And right now you can use a promo code PRODUSTAN for 20% off anything in the store. That's 20% off all coffee and merch. Thank you, Diabolical Coffee and Eric, for your support. Now, here's our chat with Andrew Antsanen.
That fresh produce stand there, that's a beauty.
What do you listen to?
My favorite murder podcast.
Taggart and Torrance podcast.
The produce stand.
Fucking sexy.
It's Freaky Friday, and we are once again hanging out at the Produce Stand, podcast covering everything in the universe. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are many other Letterkenny podcasts out there, but this one is unbelievable. I'm Al, your host, and not joining me tonight is a lovely Tanya. She's in a bit of pain right now, so she's not going to be able to join us. But we do have Squirrely Matt online, and no Victor either, so you get half of us tonight. But that's okay, because joining us tonight, he is a former hockey player and coach, mixed martial artist with a lifetime record of 3-0-0, an actor, a proud father, but we know and love him as Brant Goody Goodleaf on Shoresy. Join me making some noise for Andrew Antsanen.
Wondrous! Oh my god!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Wait. Oh my god!
I regret nothing!
Welcome to the Produce Stand, Andrew the Cannon Antsanen. I should have added the nickname in there. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That's quite the intro.
We aim to please here at the Produce Stand.
We started a while back giving people a heads up of how ridiculous it is, because he'd say welcome and then people would start talking over it and it got really awkward. So we have to give everyone a heads up now that it is completely obscure and out there, but hang in there.
No, it's good. I like it.
All right. So thank you for joining us. Where are you speaking to us from?
Upstate New York. So just an hour south of Montreal.
Oh, nice. Is that is that where you're from originally?
No, I'm from northern Manitoba, flying community there. I've been out here I've been working here for the last 7-8 years now.
Okay, cool.
So I've been working here since back when I was playing junior in Quebec, Montreal. Yeah.
What sort of work do you do in New York?
I do a number of things. In the beginning, I was working as a carpenter. I ended up running the construction crew for a few years. Now I caretaker for like 6,000 acres up in the Adirondack Mountains. So
nice.
That's fun, and get to be outdoors all day. And me and another guy, gig. No, not at all. And then also manage like a turbine. Like we have a big power dam there. So me and another guy kind of take the readings and make sure the maintenance is up to date and stuff like that. So
you keep busy, and you're now a famous actor on a great Canadian show, Shoresy.
Yeah, it depends who you ask, I guess.
We're asking, and we think so.
So
thanks.
Well, we'll get to Shoresy, but let's find out a little bit more about you. So you grew up in northern Manitoba, and obviously you played hockey, or else you wouldn't be on Shoresy. So how did you start with the hockey?
Yeah, so I grew up in northern Manitoba. It's a small reserve called Lac Brochet, Manitoba. Grew up there till I was 13. Just always liked the outdoors, always playing outside, road hockey,
Right.
Big into sports, hunting, fishing, all that stuff. So I started late. I left for high school when I first started playing organized hockey. So I was 13, turning 14. I went to a school called Notre Dame in Saskatchewan.
Okay.
It's a boarding school. Went there for 4 years, played hockey there, and had a blast doing it. I ended up improving. I played Team Manitoba for a couple of years. Got scouted to go on this Hit the Ice show. It was like a top 20 Aboriginal team that they put together from the national tournament there, National Aboriginal Hockey Championship. So that's how I ended up out east. I went to Gatineau's camp and a bunch of different camps around here, and I ended up settling in Kahnawake, Quebec, played junior there, and had a hell of a time. So I had my mind made up that I just wanted to play juniors, more or less. I didn't really want to go to university right away. I just wanted to party it up and hang out with girls and all that fun stuff.
As you do in your teens, late teens, early 20s, I guess, in Quebec.
Yeah. So then, so from ended up being out there, I'm still involved with hockey a lot. Like I'm with a charity called First Assist, with a few ex-NHLers, John Shabbat and so we travel to different Indigenous communities and put on hockey clinics and donate equipment and
That's
stuff
amazing.
like that. So, and then
What's your reach with the charity? Is it Canadian? Is it in the US, or is it kind of scattered all out? Like, how do you guys determine where you go?
Yeah, so we focus on flying communities, Indigenous communities in Canada, just because they have like limited to no access to the city. So we kind of got to go see them and, give them a quality hockey camp and stuff, and, hopefully give them some exposure and, maybe who knows, next person, give them an opportunity, sort of say.
Yeah.
One of these kids can hopefully do something great.
Well, when you were playing, what position did you play?
I played defense.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that explains that explains the numbers and your penalty minutes. I'm looking at your.
I had a lot of majors. Those aren't just twos; they're a lot of majors. So yeah.
Well done.
It was fun. When I first started playing junior, I never wanted to I didn't fight for the longest time for the first bit because I wanted to play hockey.
Right.
Got good ice and stuff. So, and then I fought one time and fucking beat the shit out of this kid, and then next thing you know,
you're known as a fighter.
And then kind of get labeled with that, and you
became the goon overnight, eh?
Pretty much, yeah.
Now it shows here that your last year with the Kahnawake Condors was 2015. So was it tough to leave, or did you play beyond that and just not?
No, it wasn't tough to leave. People still reach out to me to go and play like a couple semi-pro, teams there. But I just, like I said, I'm not going to make a career out of it. So for me, it was a sport. It served me well. And I got to meet a lot of cool places, or meet a lot of cool people, see a lot of cool things. But it got me in the position that I am now, really. And so I just kind of wanted to leave it at junior and focus on my career, sort of say.
Well, you mentioned the fight, and then you kind of became known as a fighter. So that's kind of a really great segue into your next career as an MMA fighter.
That's how that all worked out. Was the owner of the hockey team also has one of its top promotions in Eastern Canada for amateur fighting, and it's called Fight Quest. And we went to one of the shows. He invited us, me and another teammate of mine, and we watched these fights. And I told the guy's name's Peter. I said, "Hey, Pete," I could fight in one of these things. He's like, "No." He's like, "These guys will pound the shit out of you." He's like, "You're just your
ego getting the best of you here."
Yeah. No. Well, and then he's like, "These guys will pound the shit out of you. You're just a hockey fighter." Blah 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 blah. I said, "I'm serious." And he didn't know that I had a 3rd-degree black belt before in Taekwondo. So.
There you go. Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm like, you weren't stupid enough to step in the ring with just a few hockey fights under your belt.
Yeah. I said, I fought in tournaments before, and I'm a lot better with my feet than I am with my hands. And so, anyways, he wanted to teach me a lesson, and he's like, you think you can fight? He's like, he called me on a Tuesday, and their sparring's on Tuesday, like at 6 p.m. He said, "Show up to the gym at 6." So I showed up, and it was just straight sparring. So I sparred and did really good. Kicked a few people in the fucking head, and at the end of the class, they said, "Yeah, you're fighting in 2 months." So kind of just blew up after that. I did jiu-jitsu and all this shit. A lot of training, lots of training, strict meal plan. 5-6 meals a day, calculated. You know, you'd have to weigh all your food and
lots of chicken tenders.
a lot of chicken for real, lots of chicken. So, and so yeah, I started training with that, and I started getting. The first guy I fought, Alex O'Neill, he's a tough customer. He actually was like fighting for the Islanders on their farm team in the AHL and shit. Wow. So he was coming out of hockey like pretty much the same time as me. It was like this, you know, like two hockey players, you know.
You guys were going in the middle of the octagon, just standing up and throwing haymakers, right? No other tactics.
No. So we had our first fight together, and I won that. Fought another guy, beat him. He's another really good fighter, Zach Paul. They're actually two guys that I think Alex O'Neill hasn't lost a fight since me, so he has a really good pro record.
He learned his lesson.
They're both well, and Powell too. Like he's a really good fighter. They're both talented guys, and I'm pretty sure they're on the UFC watch list and stuff. So,
I mean, yeah, you've got a perfect record, so I don't blame you for stopping. But why did you stop, or have you stopped, or are you planning on going back?
Yeah, so I fought 3 times MMA. My fourth fight was supposed to be a title fight. Mm-hmm. I kind of screwed up my knee literally the week of the fight, leading up to the fight. So, so that got canceled. Then while I was still in shape, I decided to take a boxing match. So those 3 fights that you see on the internet, that's just MMA. So I took a boxing fight. That didn't last too long. I won that one. It was like a 16-second fight.
Oh, you won it?
So couple exchanges there. The guy knocked the guy out, and then I took another fight in K1 kickboxing. Same thing with that. Lasted the first round. I TKO. I won by TKO. And
wow.
Damn.
Don't fuck with Goody.
And then I was scheduled. And then my fight after that, I was scheduled for another title fight, and that was a draw. So that was my last one. But where I kind of drew the line was, for me, it was more like an activity, sort of say. I didn't see myself making a career out of it. So things started getting serious. It was like, you know, going to sign pro and be like a multi-fight, you know, deal type of thing. And I'm like, do I really, you know, want to go this route? Like, it's not like I love fighting that much. You know, I like the art of it.
Right.
So I was like, I kind of just feathered away from, but I always train, you know, like I say, martial arts is a lifelong thing, not just, you know, fighting career is short, you know. I want to do this for the rest of my life. So I still train. I do pads. I teach people. I teach little classes and privates and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it sounds like you with the 3rd degree black belt, you clearly had previous training, and then you tested yourself for a bit in the ring, see how you do, and then you're like, okay, that was fun. I'm not letting it go, but it's not a career, and at least you're smart enough to make that choice for yourself. So totally respect that. That's awesome.
Like, I mean, there's no, like, even in the UFC now, there's no like fighters insurance and any of that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, and even guys in the UFC aren't making a whole lot of money. Like, what's an entry fight? You $12,000 to show up, $12,000 if you win, but then you still get taxed, then you got to pay your trainers and all this other stuff. So what are you really walking away with at the end, other than a broken nose? And you either really got to love it, or you know, that'd be your only route in life or something. I don't know, but I can only speak for myself. So
sure,
a lot of risk there for sure. And
so now, I mean, both hockey and MMA are your kind of your hobbies, right? Kind of stuff you do in your spare time. What would you say monopolizes your time? Would it be one or the other, or kind of is it 50-50 split right now?
Yeah, I still play hockey once a week, just you know, for fun with the guys. Join a native tournament once in a while and play for cash prizes. And MMA, you know, still train twice a week. You know, with my coach there. Not so much recently, like in the last couple of months, just because he's been in Montreal a lot and I've been here a lot. But I still hit the bag, all that stuff throughout the week, 3-4 times. Train, like I said, train other people, have other people hold pads for me and stuff. So yeah, still very involved in it. And if I wanted to jump back in it, I, you know, wouldn't wouldn't be much to
get back into it. Yeah.
To get back into it. Yeah.
Very cool. During my research on you, there isn't a lot out there outside of your hockey and your MMA fighting career. I was trying to find something, but I do want to ask you about a certain story that I found on Instagram. So you've got a couple of kids, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
One of them you delivered at home.
Yeah,
and that wasn't planned. Now I know some people like plan to do it at home, but so can you tell that story?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. That's a crazy story. So that obviously by far that's the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. At the same time, you know, very like, holy shit, that just happened. Anyways, so so what happened was the plan was to have a home delivery, like our midwives were supposed to be here and stuff. Sure. And so actually the midwife came the night before and stayed the night at the house. And she checked her again the next morning and she says, well, I think I have time to go see another client. Like she wasn't as dilated as she was the night before. So she thought she had a few hours. Yeah. Well, she left, and I mean, I was going to go to work and she was going to be at the house alone. And where we live, we don't have like really any neighbors. We have our own driveway, like our little section. We have like 12 acres for ourselves and
you're pretty remote,
stuff like that. So yeah, so we're in the woods a little bit. It's very nice and cozy. So anyways, so at the time I was running a construction crew. So I had stuff to do that day. And anyways, I was about to leave. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is this midwife? You know, like, and she's starting to have contractions, you know, like, I'm like, is this normal? You know what I mean? Like, I have no experience whatsoever. I've never been in the hospital room or anything with anybody giving birth.
Well, I mean, unless there's the word doctor in front of your name, very few people do have experience giving birth. I mean, that's crazy.
So then I said, all right, well, I'm not going to go to work. I'll hang tight with you here until the midwives come. Mm-hmm. And so now these contractions are happening like fast, like very more frequently. And she's like squealing on the couch. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And I'm like, all right, well, let me bring you up to the room, get you on the bed, get you a little bit more comfortable. Yeah. And I have a stepson as well. We've been together since he was 3. He's 9 now, but at the time he was 7. And he was here with us. So I brought her upstairs and she's going nuts, and like it just seemed like a fucking murder scene. So
I can't imagine.
And I trying to calm my oldest. I'm like, hey, like, and he's crying, not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
And I take him to the room. I don't want him to see any of this. So I take him to the room. I said, hey, buddy, you gotta be brave for me for a little bit. Just stay here. I'm gonna take care of your mom. And when I'm back, you know, you'll have a little brother. Wow. You'll have a little brother. And so when I come around the corner, and now like there's like 10,000 things going through my fucking head. Like, what do I do? Where I come around the corner and the head's already out.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
That escalated quickly.
Oh yeah. And then, so like, I'm on the phone, like with her mom, trying to get her mom. And I'm like, she's like, what? I said, you got to get here now. Like, and I hung up the phone. Midwives are on the phone too, trying to talk me through it. I can't even hear. Like now it's like, what the, like fucking, the phone's there, it's on speaker, but you don't hear anything.
No,
you're in full panic mode right now.
Oh yeah. So so I go up, I grab the head and I like try to pull like just a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't budge. I'm like, fuck, like this kid's gonna get stuck, like this, die, suffocate. I'm gonna break its neck or something. Like, you think the worst, eh?
Yeah.
And then, so then she like looks up at me and like she's like, is he out? Or is his head out? And I wanted to lie because like try to make this, you know, a little bit more comfortable. But I was like, the fucking head's out. She's like, okay. She's like, on the next contraction, pull again a little bit. I said, okay. She had another contraction, and then I pulled a bit, and I just felt it move a little bit, and I just went with it, and the baby came right out. And,
wow.
And and what was funny too, what we weren't sure is because her water didn't fully break. Like her water didn't break. Mm-hmm. So they didn't like, that's one of the reasons why I guess the midwife had left, like the baby wasn't ready.
Yeah. Right.
But when the baby came out, that's when all the shit came out. So I got sprayed with the fucking the whole
Oh, yeah,
word.
you got the full
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah. So then I had this, my son in my hands. I'm sure the first words he heard was like, holy shit, or like, holy fuck. Like, so I go run in the bathroom, grab a towel, run it over, wrap it up. And at the same time, I missed part of the story that I'm at the same time still trying to call an ambulance to get here. Cause I said, I'll call an ambulance, have them at least around for the,
any emergencies or whatever.
If the midwives aren't here.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, there's nobody here. It's like I called my fucking one of the guys I was working with. I said, you got to meet the ambulance, because the ambulance couldn't find her place too. So he had to meet the ambulance, bring him down the road and shit and to our place. And by the time there was like everything was done, there's like now there's a big orchestra in the driveway. There's 10 people like all ready to help. I said I could have used any one of you guys like literally a minute or two ago. Yeah. But the baby was, was out. He cried, everything was good. Midwife showed up maybe about 15, 20 minutes after. Weighed him healthy as could be. So
amazing.
I was lucky, and it took a little while for it to kind of settle in. And I was like, man, that was fucking wild. Like 2 weeks later, I was like, as if I just had that happen.
I was going to say, you've played hockey in front of, I'm sure, large crowds. You've fought in the octagon. How does that adrenaline rush compare to delivering your own kid?
I was gonna say it's
I like
the similar. It's the similar to like being in a fight where like the seconds feel like minutes or hours, sort of say.
Yeah.
And but this was a lot like slower. It was like it was a lot more intense.
Adrenaline and instincts take over.
Yeah.
And honestly, what I heard, so I mean, that's a story you're never gonna that is yours. You own that story. What I also loved in there is Mama Bear is a rock star, because when you were telling me right in that moment where she's in that chaos managed to stop and coach you.
Oh yeah.
Like that's unbelievable, man.
Yeah. It was definitely a team effort there for sure. Yeah, because like I said, I had no idea. I was fucking shitting bricks, man. Like I was like, what's gonna happen here? Like, last thing you want is to paralyze your kid, or just anything. Like it could have came out the wrong way, whatever, any type of complication. But no, it was a perfect storm, I guess you could say.
And how old is he now?
He's 2.
Yeah, and cute as a button. I saw a video you just posted of him eating soup, and he looks so much like you.
He's a cool little fella.
Yeah. Well, from dads to dad, we're all dads.
Exactly.
That's
we're all dads here.
Congratulations, and I'm amazed you got through that. That's wild.
Yeah, thanks.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad we were able to share that story, because as soon as I saw him, like, there's an amazing story there, I'm sure. So let's move on to why people are listening. I mean, I'm sure they'll appreciate that story, but we're going to talk Shoresy now. First of all, before you hear about Shoresy, I mean, how do you get into acting? Like, did you have designs on acting before, or was this something that kind of fell in your lap?
Yeah, it was definitely something that just fell in my lap. I mean, before there's always been thoughts of like, it'd be cool to be an actor, do some acting or get some TV time or whatever. And I think a lot of us first time actors can say that, it's crossed our mind before, but we never really pursued it. But actually Gonna Dio Horn, she reached out to me. Very good friends with her boyfriend there, partner. Anyway, so she knew I played hockey. Played junior in the town that she's from, and she said, hey, they're looking for another native character for this show Shoresy. Would you be interested? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll give it a shot. And at first I didn't really think too much of it. I didn't know the backstory to it or whatever. Right. And then she had mentioned the Letterkenny thing. I said, no shit. And I remember when Letterkenny first came out, like the first season, the first 6 episodes, I remember watching it with a while ago when, with this girl that showed me, and and I thought it was the funniest shit. But like there was nothing after that, so I never really followed up on it. Like I'm not really a big TV guy, and this was a thing that kind of caught my interest. And
Sure.
I didn't end up like watching the rest of the season, but then I knew that it kind of blew up after, and they're doing all these things, all these seasons. So, anyways, she sent me a little audition part to audition for, which was the scene of when we're like nobody touches the bird, all that shit, you know, when we first get to the apartment there. So I ran that. I was flipping my house at the time, and so I set up my little drywall light there and put my fucking phone on the windowsill and posted my lines on the drywall. And I ran him through that, and I even sent it. I don't know if I sent it late or what, but I sent it late at night. It was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I was fucking around with it. Like I started way too late, and there's a deadline. And anyway, sent it in. I said, I don't know how I did, but this is the best. Not the best I got. I said, this is what I have, and I hope you guys like it. Sent it in, and they I guess they really enjoyed it. So and that's how I kind of got the part.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they were looking for another native character because, like, to be one of the sluts, considering that the 3 gyms are the tough natives. So they wanted a native to be also part of like the main, group of sluts, right? So and you were the one they picked. That's really cool. When did you end up? So at what point do you meet Jared and Jacob?
That was on Zoom. I think they met with everybody on Zoom before anything. Talked to us, got to know each other, and they said if we had any questions, because they knew I was green, like green, like probably one of the greenest out of everybody. So I said I really don't know what to even ask, but I'm going to do my best for you guys. That's for sure, you know, so they were excited. We just kind of chit chatted, got to know each other, and they're really cool people. So they made it very comfortable and everything. When, especially like being on set, you know, Dio was that, you know, that middle person as well. But they were just the way they shoot, very comfortable. They eased us in. They brought us in a week early. We skated around, got the feel of each other, and then we shot all the hockey scenes in the beginning. So we kind of, when it came down to the acting part, it wasn't like they just threw us in front of a camera. So we're kind of used to having the cameras around and stuff. And by that time, we all kind of knew each other's personalities and stuff like that. So
yeah, you know, that is smart because you guys kind of developed a chemistry with each other on the ice first, right? So that's
A good call on their part. It's great.
Like it seems everything was like perfectly calculated. It seemed like these people know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
That's the same vibe every single person says. It's all calculated, all intentional. Like everything Jared does is by design. And the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a genius, man, for sure.
So we've had, you probably know, we've had Max Buffard on, we've had Joe Dolo, we've had Terry, we've had Ryan McDonald. So I ask all of them this question because you guys are all the sluts. We're waiting to get Shoresy on. You know, he's a bit of a tougher get. But who would you say is, when you're on the ice, first of all, you get on the ice, I'm sure it gets competitive, right? You guys start, competing a bit.
Yeah. It wasn't so much like it's not like we're skating around like doing one-on-ones and shit, you know. It's we get on the ice, we go for a little skate, you know, we run it through some drills. It was more or less doing drills.
Right.
So like and then we obviously fool around, we'll play games at the end, like stuff like that. But I mean, as far as competitive, the most competitive it gets is at the end, but forget what the game's called. I don't know if it's called horseshoe or whatever, or horse, but it's when it's the players against the goalie. We're like half moon around the goalie, and so like I said, we just did drills and had fun, skated, and
so I'll ask you what I asked everybody else: who's the best player on the ice?
Out of all the, like, like in the gyms and everybody.
And the sluts, yeah.
I guess I got to give it to Jordan. I mean,
he's the guy with the rings, right?
Yeah, I mean, fucking, it kind of speaks for itself. Yeah.
I believe Joe Dolo said he was the best player on the ice.
He took credit himself.
Oh, maybe he thought you guys were just talking about like me, Terry, and Jake.
I might have said who was the best of the sluts, but you're right. It would probably be Jordan, right? Since he's the man with the rings. Yeah.
Oh, the other quick question, and I don't actually know, is the missing tooth. Is it fake or real in your case?
Oh no, this one's real.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So then part two.
There's actually 3 of them fucking missing from that.
All right. So that follow-up question: how? Why are there 3 missing?
Oh, I took a heavy fucking. I played defense, right? So I took the guy was coming down on a 1-on-1, and he wound up for a slap shot, and I stopped and I poke checked the puck. So when he followed through with his shot, it rolled up my stick and right underneath my visor and shattered my teeth. Like not like clean fell out. Like it was, my mouth was shattered. Like it was at the end of my shift, and I remember breathing in, and those like little fine particles cutting my throat and shit.
Oh, man.
So I got to the bench. I'm like, fuck, like, and I just like touched with my tongue, and like they're like razor sharp, and I'm like, and this poor little girl was our trainer, like not little girl, like she's
young.
She was older, the therapist, but she was just small, petite, delicate little thing. And she's like, "Are you okay?" And I have my hand here, and I just looked at her and I smiled with like the most gnarly fucking teeth ever, and my all bloody. And she's like, and I could just remember seeing the look on her face, and she was like, "Oh my God," like she got scared, eh? Like, and I was like, "It's okay, like whatever, like I'll just skate off." So I skated off and went to the hospital, and they only pulled out actually the bottom one because there was like my bottom eye tooth there. It was cracked right down the middle, and that one bothered me the most because like you can't like eat or like do anything, like it was split right down the middle. And I have like deep roots, so it was even shittier. But so I went to the hospital, sat there for whatever length. They pulled the next day. I got that bottom one pulled, but I had to wait a week with my 2 front ones the way they were because there was no room for dentists or anything. So
well, you didn't have the Terry Ryan dental plan with the sledgehammer?
No, I
that's a story.
As much punches as I took, I don't think I would fucking do something like that.
Oh, it's so wild, man. Well, it's funny that you like the tooth for you, I know is a big that led to some of even our listeners, of course, fans of Shoresy's favorite moments. I know I think it's Casey, one of our listeners, is a big fan of you. And there's that one scene in like the 2nd or 3rd episode when you guys are at the club and you're about to throw down, and you just look at the guy and you give this grin, and out comes your tooth.
Yeah.
Our female listeners, I can tell you, that's the moment they all fell in love with you, man.
Yeah, I think that was the highlight for me during that season there for sure.
It's amazing that Shoresy has made it so that women swoon when you remove your false teeth. Like
I
who would
know,
have thought, right?
You would think the opposite, but I guess not.
So what would you say would be like a memorable moment for you on set? Like, I mean, would it be like the first time you had to actually act, or can you think of
on set? Yeah, I mean, I remember we were sitting there, and I think it was at Pepe Panini, and we were sitting there. I was like, "We're fucking acting here, boys. We're fucking acting." So that was pretty cool, It's like, here we are acting, eh? Like, so it was kind of like a little bit of a joke there.
Is it where you're like, well, I don't see what the big deal is. This is easy. This is shit. You just say the words.
Yeah. Well, it when fucking they say action and shit gets real, it's like it's time now,
Yeah.
And so it is still it was a little bit nerve wracking, but I was like a sponge. I was taking everything in. So
Nice.
Towards the end, I kind of got a bit more comfortable, and even just like knowing like where to look or knowing where the cameras are all the time, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and yeah, that was a good moment for me for sure.
Did you have a hard time holding it together sometime? Like the content is hysterical, right? So did you break a lot?
Like a lot. I think everybody can admit that they fucking had a hard time keeping it together. But we like the guys, we would go over our shit in the hotel rooms like religiously almost.
Right.
Like, you know, we wanted to be prepared for, you know, what we were doing and stuff. So like I do, like when I first read the script, I fucking howled, you know, like I couldn't get through like the stuff. So I had to like, you know, so I got all the laughs kind of out of the way. But then when we were acting, yeah, there was a lot of like when you see it happen and Shoresy's doing his thing and, you know, like it's hard to fucking not to smile, you know, like good thing like they didn't have a wide angle because I think there's a lot of us at points where we were fucking laughing and, you know, it's a good thing they had a close up on him.
Right. Did you ever get starstruck while on set? Like, did you see anybody going, "Oh wow, I can't believe I'm here"? And
no, I honestly, I don't, like I said again, I don't watch a whole lot of TV.
Right.
I never really have.
You're more of an
like,
outdoorsy guy, so
yeah, like I like to get down and dirty and you know do shit like that.
Yeah,
but I guess as far as starstruck, Jared. I mean, when I first saw him,
sure.
He was coming into the rink there to, you know, meet us and stuff. And I was like, fucking, this is the guy. Hey, this is the man.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'd be the one I was most excited to meet for sure. Yeah.
So when production was done and you watched the season, you know, back afterwards, what would be your favorite scene or, you know, episode anyway? Would it be like that you're in or that somebody else is in?
I gotta say the fight scene, that was a cool scene where
in the hallway.
Oh yeah, that was cool. Like even watching the show and you see this, like this is fucking great, you know. But yeah, and even when we were shooting it was fun too because, you know, there was so much going on and we had our guy to pick and we're still, you know, fighting with these guys or sort of say or stunting with them. But yeah, it was fun. A lot of, like I said, a lot of learning experiences, even with stunts and shit, you know, how to fake fight and stuff like that. But that was probably one of my favorites for sure.
Very good. What about the scene around the barbecue? That must have been fun to shoot.
Yeah, that was fun too. I mean, that was towards the end of the season, I believe, but that was fun. So we kind of knew, I mean, the jokes parts, like we're used to it and stuff, kind of, you know, just with being with each other and stuff.
Yeah. But, you already had that chemistry, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, we got the laughs out of the way for the most part. And
I feel like maybe that scene you might have been a little rushed or pressured just because when that snow was falling, that was real. That was a real snowfall, right?
Yeah.
You probably wanted like quick, like let's get this scene because this is perfect. And if it stops or whatever, then continuity and all that stuff you got to think about, right?
Yeah, exactly. But actually, it was kind of like we were actually grateful for the snow. We liked it. It wasn't. It looked super beautiful. Cold.
Yeah, it looked great.
It wasn't super cold. It was like a super nice day out.
Yeah.
The snow was like one of those snowflakes that are like big and fluffy and shit. And it was like a beautiful spot too. We're like, fucking A, like that's another moment where you're like, you know, we got it made here. Like, look at all this shit. Look at all the lights, all these people in the house doing all this shit. Yeah.
But it's the same kind of setting as like the final moment when you guys are all running down the street. I think it was Harlan was talking about that, how he was injured and then and had to bounce back and suddenly the snow hit and you guys all got the call and like, all right, let's go. We're heading to the street.
Yeah, he hurt his ass bone there.
His ass bone.
I
love it.
Yeah. That was, I think they called it after that because they weren't sure if he was gonna like be able to continue or not. So it was a big halt on everything. And they shut down the whole fucking Sudbury for that, right? Because they're supposed to do that run. So I mean, they had to shut down Sudbury again for us to do that scene. It was it's one of the most important scenes out of the season. It's the finale, right?
Yeah, so, the last thing you see. Yeah, we were down in Sudbury in September and we got to like visit a few of those places, the Doghouse and Pepe Panini's, and we went to the corner where you guys run down. It was September, so there's no snow, but it was still pretty cool to check that out and see, like just imagine the production. Yeah, shutting down. That's a pretty major road that you guys shut down in Sudbury. What time was it? Yeah, what time was it? Was it like midnight or something?
It was, that was a little bit late. I think it was like around 11, 12. But if I remember correctly, it was on a weekend too.
Oh, wow.
I believe. So like the bars and shit.
Yeah.
And restaurants were like closed. If I'm, correct me if, like, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure it was like a Saturday or Friday night or something.
Yeah. But
I could be wrong again. Yeah. But it's definitely, to shut down, that whole section. I mean, for sure. That's wild.
Two questions. One is a really quick one, which we've asked everyone. When you're having a stick, bowl or no bowl?
Well, I guess it depends where you're eating it. If you're eating it in bed, you probably like to have a bowl.
Oh no!
Crumbs all over you. But no, I'm not saying I'm picking bowl. I have all my sticks, free-handed.
Free-handed, yeah. So say, if you're eating stick in bed, I mean, first of all, well done. Like you're living life right. But
that's when like the kids are in bed with us watching like a little cartoon or some shit there.
Okay, having a little degen moment, eating your ice cream in bed. Why not, right?
Yeah. But I mean, it kind of, the kids still managed to make a mess anyway. So what? Yeah.
So, go ahead, Matt.
I was gonna say the other one. I was curious. I mean, we haven't talked much about the relationship with you and the other guys. Mm-hmm. Like, what was that like in terms of when you guys first met and how? I mean, I know you said you played, but outside of just shooting, what was the relationship amongst the guys there and throughout the whole shooting cycle?
It was good. We all got along very well. Always hung out together on the weekends.
Max's basement.
Max's basement. Yeah, that's the only thing where we could go, but we had some fucking good times down there. We were almost even going to throw, like we asked, I'm pretty sure we asked production, like, can we have throw a party kind of thing? Because like, it was just us, right? I mean, we still have fun, but we want to invite people over and shit. Yeah. And they agreed with it. They were even going to give us like COVID tests to test these fucking,
oh, wow.
Because we were kind of in a bubble, right?
Sure.
In the time. So, but I don't think we didn't really invite a whole lot of people anyways. We kind of just stayed in our circle. But with the relationship with the guys, we all get along. We all hang out after, have dinner, shoot this shit. Hang out in Terry's room. Terry likes playing music and hosting, NHL, fucking tournaments there, like on the TV, like Xbox stuff.
Right.
Again, I'm not a big Xbox player or anything, so I sat. Sorry,
Terry's hosting Xbox tournaments.
I think they had one tournament, I believe, but he would blast some tunes and we have a few drinks, and
that's amazing.
Yeah, there was actually there's a funny story too. I probably should tell you. There was one night we came back from Max's pretty fucking slaughtered, and we were going back to our rooms, and we thought, like, because we were all stayed on the 4th floor,
right?
So when we came back, there was me, Terry, and Dolo, and we are going back to our rooms, and I went to go pop into this one room thinking it was one of the guys' rooms because they were partying too. I said, I'll pop in and say hi. Anyways, it was the wrong room because the latch was there. Like, we all left latches, our doors open. We'd all mingle with each other, go see each other. But I went knock on this door open. I was like, oh shit, wrong room. Sorry. Like, they're like, oh no, it's fine. So I'm shooting this shit a little bit with the guys, and it's full of guys in there. Like, they're partying, and I forget where they're even from. Kind of like thuggish or wannabe thugs. I don't know. And then we're walking back, and then Terry, the fucking guy, he's walking by and he says, fuck you. He says that to the room, and he keeps walking, and he gets into his room. So now I'm standing there at the door with 4 guys in the room. Somebody runs from the back. What the fuck do you say? They run in front, and I'm standing there like thinking like, I'm going to be fucking thrown down with like 4 or 5 guys.
Thanks to Terry's big mouth.
Yeah. Like in front of this like hotel room. So like for a split time, I was like, what are my options? Like, should I run and try to get in my room? They're going to catch me anyways, try to fuck around with this card to try to get in, right? I said, they're going to get me in. So I said, well, I'm just going to stand right here. And as they come out the door, I'm just going to keep, swinging. And then Dolo heard all the commotion. And just like the scene in the second episode of at the bar scene, He comes running and he shows up behind me, this top, big fucking Dolo,
Yeah.
And he's standing there just looking, and then you can just see him kind of like
slowing the roll.
Yeah, going back into the room and the clothes. And I was like, holy shit. And I looked at them, I was like, fuck, thanks, man. I was like, I really thought I knew something was gonna happen. I was gonna end up fighting them or trying to run away and still end up having to fight them.
Wow.
But I said, I'm not. Yeah, I had.
Who would have thought Terry Ryan was such a shit disturber?
I know, man. You would think, like he probably, we're like, again, we had, more than enough drinks that night, and it was late and stuff. So can't really blame him. He probably doesn't even remember it, but he
does he have
remembers.
any idea that this happened?
Well, he does now, I'm sure. Like we told the story and whatever, but yeah, Dolo fucking showed up, and it was like, oh man, that was close. Because last thing I want is to show up, on set with a fucking black eye or another missing tooth, or who knows,
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would have sucked.
So we have a few questions from our listeners. First of all, you're going to be in Milwaukee soon for a special Shoresy night, right? Along with Dolo, is that correct? So some of our go ahead.
No. Yeah, that's in February. I was just going to say.
Yeah, in February. Some of our listeners actually went up from the U.S., all over the U.S., went up to Sudbury for the Shoresy night, and they all, got to meet Max in person and took pictures of them. So a few of them are going to Milwaukee, so they're looking forward to it. So if somebody named Aaron or Chad come up to you for a picture, we sent them. So, treat them well.
Nice. Oh, yeah, for sure.
They're looking forward to it. So a few questions from our listeners. What was the best lesson a coach has taught you? Could be hockey, MMA, whatever. Also, there'd be a chance to meet him. This is about Milwaukee. Anyway, so that's from our listener, Erin. She'd like to know what was the best lesson maybe you learned from a coach?
From a coach?
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of my head, I mean, there's so many.
Sure.
I've had so many good coaches. They say a lot of great things.
Yeah.
But for one that sticks out, I mean, I'll have to get back to you.
Yeah, okay.
Can you ask that one at the end?
Okay. I mean, you were a coach yourself, right? You did some assistant coaching in hockey as well?
Yeah. I assisted coached on that TV show, that same TV show, Hit the Ice, and same thing, running camps and stuff. But so like what I would say, or somebody has said to me.
Sure, yeah.
What somebody has said to me, right?
It doesn't even have to be a coach. It could be anyone who's
mentor, like
offered a piece of wicked advice that
maybe it's something Jared told you about acting. Like,
I mean, I guess don't cut yourself short. Like when if people value you, sort of say, and you go and devalue yourself. You're setting a standard to where they are going to look at you like that. You again, cutting yourself short. So never do that. Hold yourself, be proud of what you accomplish, and obviously stay humble, work hard. That stuff, I'm sure everybody's heard, but, and give yourself the opportunity, and if you're going to do it right. Otherwise you're going to be doing it twice, sort of say.
And I'm sure saying yes, even when, maybe you're not sure, like that's what led you to Shoresy, right? Like, I'm sure you weren't thinking I'm going to be on this hit Canadian TV show, but here you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And, opportunity present itself, and you try your very best, and that's all you can really do. And, the man upstairs will take care of the rest.
Oh, that's good. Our buddy Adrian, he asked about, how you got into MMA. We've kind of covered that. He also asked about the story of delivering your son at home. So we've covered that one. So thank you, Adrian, for those questions. Tobias wants, he's interested in knowing what Goody's background is in general. So do you get you got a script obviously, but did you get any kind of background, like a character Bible for Goody? Like, do you know what?
No, not too much. Like they didn't have like a set character on how he should be. Just he threw out one-liners, and he's a native guy, and so I kind of got to make it, I guess, a little bit, have my own twist to it a little bit. So
right.
Remember Jared sent me a text when the show was producing out. He says, and again about that look in the Colson, he said that just said it a very good standard for Goody's character and
Right.
the future. So so I guess, like I said, I had my own. I mean, again, how much more could I do? I said, settle down. Unbelievable.
Right.
Everything's unbelievable. I love chicken, and so like,
Okay.
that's pretty much it. So in the, future seasons, hopefully maybe that character will open up a little bit more and you'll see more of, his characteristics, I guess.
Awesome asked if please do more cooking videos on Instagram. Were you doing cooking videos on Instagram?
Fuck, probably. I cook a lot of moose meat and caribou meat and like I'm big into growing my own stuff. Like I have chickens, I have 3 cows.
Nice.
So I like to know what I'm putting into my body and stuff. I like to, and again, it's just stuff I like to do. I'm very outdoorsy. So yeah, I can definitely do a few more cooking videos. Why not?
There you go. You've got a fan base already for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started up my own cooking show. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, it worked for Serge Ibaka. I don't know if you're a basketball fan, but Serge Ibaka, when he was a Raptor, he started that cooking show on the YouTube channel that got a lot of eyeballs. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Maybe.
Well, his shtick though was he got his teammates to come in and because he's African, he would feed them weird shit that he, and not tell them what it was until they ate it. So he would make his teammates eat like, I don't know, boar testicles or something. I can't even remember what it was. Right. But he wouldn't tell them anyway. I'm not suggesting you should do that to.
No, there's times where like,
maybe to Terry Ryan, but yeah.
Yeah. Depending who you're cooking for, you just don't tell them what's in there until after the last, like I've eaten a lot of like, for some people, they might call it wild, but
sure,
porcupine's a very good tasting meat. It's like a sweet meat. So if you make a stew out of it, it's probably one of the best stews you'll ever have.
Damn,
interesting.
Right.
Yeah, like beaver, all kinds of stuff, like hunt trap and whatever. Yeah, the whole thing behind a hunter is you kill it, you eat it. You don't just take a life just to take a life. You know those guys that killed to have a rack is, at the end of the, you can't eat a rack for once, and 2, it's not the right intention, I guess.
No, agreed. Yeah. Excellent. Our buddy Don, he's asking about a specific scene on the play where the guy's contact ends up on your face. How planned was that? Because the laugh between you and Dolo seemed very genuine.
Well, it was funny. Well, because that hit, I fucking smoked that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember we ran through the play just, 2-3 times so the camera would see where the point of contact. So we would just skate by each other where the contact was going to happen. And the stunt guy goes, I'd rather it happen like you hit me once hard rather than do it a bunch of times and hit me like kind of softly.
Right.
So I said, okay. And then, when I was playing hockey, I used to love nailing guys, open ice hits,
So he asked for it.
And I fucking cranked them and the guys' reaction, they're like, oh, like all that shit was real, and it was like a one take thing. Yeah, we got it. That's good. And I made, hey man, you all right? And so like we were kind of giggly off of that, and because we shot that scene right after, right? Yeah.
So that was scripted. That wasn't something that actually happened by accident or anything. That was
what's that?
The whole contact thing. That was that was already
Yeah. That was scripted.
That's cool. Question for anyone involved with Shoresy that comes on: Doghouse or Townhouse, Colson or Peppy Lounge, wing sauce, and what wing sauce do you get at Wacky Wings?
So Doghouse or what was
or Townhouse?
Townhouse.
You guys weren't allowed out, were you? So like,
not a whole lot. Like we ate at Doghouse once. I don't think I went to Townhouse, or if I did, which one's Townhouse? Is that the one with all the TVs and shit?
I've never been. We've been to the Doghouse, but we never went to Townhouse. So I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Or what about Colson or Peppy Lounge? I'm gonna guess Peppy's. Maybe.
Well,
for the food.
Yeah, well, Colson's nice because they got the stripper poles and all that in there. But I mean, Pepe's definitely, the food's good. I haven't been to either one as them being open, so I can't really choose. I'm not from Sudbury,
right.
So I don't know what the vibe is on both those ends. So we're gonna have to wait for after the second season.
Oh, and congratulations, by the way. We're excited.
Amazing.
I mean, kind of the world's worst kept secret. We fully expected there to be at least another season, but it's great to have it official.
Yeah. It's going to be nice because we're going to go back. It's going to be a little warmer and things are opened up. So we're going to definitely hit up a few bars.
Right.
You'll
be able to answer these questions next time we have you on then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
And as far as wing sauce goes, I kind of like a little bit of spicy sweet. So maybe like a Thai chili or whatever those ones are. And yeah, those are good.
That's great.
That's always number one on my hit list.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, Matt, you want to ask your question?
Yeah, I mean, I ask everyone. I mean, like this is obviously your first acting role, a Canadian man, Indigenous man. When it's hit home that like Shoresy being as impactful and the following it has, I mean, how has it felt to you being a part of all this? Now looking back at it all,
it's an honor, really. I think we can all say that, like, the big opportunity for all of us. And for me personally, I come from like a very small, remote community, so people are very proud, like not just proud, but I'm happy that I, show these kids that if I can do it, then any one of you guys, I know it sounds, people say this all the time, but for real, like
representation matters for sure, man.
Yeah. And all these surrounding communities in the North, all these isolated communities, they really see that, and it brings joy to them, brings joy to me, and I still speak my language fluently and stuff. So when I go back, they're happy to speak with me. And
amazing.
And so for me, I'm very grateful, obviously for Shoresy and being able to be, I guess, sort of a role model, sort of say, for some of these kids, and give back as much as I can, or the best way I can, through what we do with this charity. So
yeah, well, you're certainly doing your village proud, and for sure you're representing. I'm going to ask you about some, like, if you have anything to promote. Why don't you kind of remind us about First Assist and what you guys do with that?
Yeah, so First Assist is it's a charity, Indigenous owned and ran charity. We focus on a lot of fly-in communities. We bring kids. We really combine the sports and education aspect to the thing. So we want to get kids in school, but kids want to play sports, but you can't just play sports. You got to have education involved. And so we use that sports as a tool to build good life skills and, get kids in school and, give them opportunity. If they ever do want to leave their community, they know they could get a hold of us and we could set a tryout up for them, or, stuff like that. So there's a whole lot of different avenues. If they want to check, I got a link up on my Instagram page, and it goes into detail. And we got some good sponsors where we get equipment, and when we go up to these different communities, that we donate it to so that they have equipment to continue playing, or when we come back up, they can be involved as much as possible in the camps.
That's great. And you mentioned your Instagram. Is that the best place for people to follow you? Yeah.
Facebook is more like family type of thing. So Instagram, I don't have Twitter. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and tweet and twiddle my fingers there about sweet nothings, I mean, it like, don't get me wrong. People that have Twitter, you can pass on good information, but it's just not my thing.
As Wayne would, Twitter's a cult. It's okay. You can say And so as far as acting goes, I mean, have you gotten bit by the bug? Like, do you want to do more beyond Shoresy, or are you pretty happy?
Yeah, I figured like we did this one season. I'd see what kind of buzz would happen around it. And maybe after the second season, look more into it. I sat down, I had dinner with one of the guys, actually the guy that plays Phil, the big Jack guy that ended up fighting in the Colston or whatever. I had dinner with him. He came to Montreal. He's a stunt guy. And he was talking to me about if I wanted to get into stunts or not, because I have the background with MMA and hockey and different things like that. And so my mind's open. Like I said, I'm still learning a lot about the industry, and and definitely, yeah, would like to wouldn't hate getting into other stuff. It's a blast being on those shows,
Yeah.
you know. So
all right. Well, Matt, do you have any final questions?
No question. Just congrats, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so excited for what's to come and your continued success on Shoresy. We fucking love it.
Yeah.
And we can't thank you enough for coming out and hanging out with us.
Mm-hmm.
You helped us sign off on all the slut roster, obviously minus the man himself,
minus the big guy.
Who won't come out and hang out with us. But one day we're hoping he'll come see us. But
you gotta work for him.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've tried. Trust me. Thank you so much. I echo what Matt says, Andrew, for giving us almost an hour of your time. Very very gracious of you. We'd love it if you could put in a good word to Tio, because we'd love to have her on too and ask her about Letterkenny and about all the stuff she's been in lately. Yeah. She's the it girl right now. So
she's doing very well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll run it by her.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
See what
we'll take it. We'll take it.
Yeah, whatever good words you can give. Tell her we're not creeps. We just want to, we're fans. But thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to play us off here with a song by our buddy Joe Dolo, and it's called No Discussion.
Nice.
Either you buying or you selling, no discussion. When there's action, poker face, ain't no bluffing. About 3-5 in the wood, I get the buff. It's my time and I'm about to make it happen. Either you buying or you selling, no discussion.
And that's all we have for this episode. Don't forget to give our sponsor Diabolical Coffee some love. They are at diabolicalcoffee.com. Right now you can use the promo code PRODUCEN for 20% off any purchase from their site. If you'd like to support the podcast, rate us on iTunes, Spotify, become a patron. There's a Patreon link on our site or Twitter profile at ProduceNPod. They're also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at ProduceNPod. Thank you for joining us. Now we're going to go have some chicken tenders with our new friend Andrew. On behalf of Andrew, Matt, and myself, thank you for listening. Have a great week.
That shit was scratched off. We can shoot, but a nigga right square off. Left, right, put a nigga night, nigga. 20K in my pocket, light, nigga.